So the Confederation of African Football has reached a decision on the debacle we saw at the AFCON final. And I must say, I love the judgment. I must say, I agree with the judgment. Kudos to the people at CAF because heads were supposed to prevail. People were calling for blood. People were calling for leniency. We needed to reach a middle ground. And don't get me wrong, in as much as many people, and I have an article out there on it, we're happy that Senegal won, there were definitely going to be repercussions because there was no way you could walk off the pitch and then you expect nothing to happen. But then, as I have also recorded in past episodes, is we did not want a situation of selective justice where Senegal were the only people who were scapegoated in that whole mess we found ourselves in the final. So this was what CAF agreed on. So CAF decided to suspend Mr. Pape, Thiaw, who is the Senegalese head coach, for unsporting conduct in violation of the disciplinary code of fair play and integrity for bringing the game into disrepute. And I'm guessing this is when he told the Senegalese players to go off. They fined him 100,000 USD. That's like a lot of money. That's like a huge amount of money. And then they've suspended the Senegalese national team player Iliman Ndiaye for 2 official matches for his unsporting behavior towards the referee. Ismail Assar has also received 2 matches for his behavior towards the referee. But this is the problem I have with this judgment. When you go through the judgment, you realize that when it comes to the Moroccan players, it was Saibari and Hakimi who were punished for their unsporting conduct towards the referee. But Brahim Diaz, for his tantrums he threw and in the face, which honestly, I also believe should not have gone unpunished because I don't see the difference between what Ismail Assar did and Brahim Diaz did. But Ismail Assar is also going to be banned for 2 matches for unsporting behavior. Then the Senegalese Football Federation is being fined $300,000 for improper. Yes, this one, it's because the way the Senegalese conducted themselves, the funds, I mean, the way they conducted themselves was not the best. It was not the best. And they've been fined 300,000 for that. Then they've been fined again for another 300,000 for unsporting conduct of their players and technical staff in violation of the yada, 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 yada. And then they've been found again for 15,000 due to misconduct of the national team due to 5 of its players having. So I guess the explanation here is 5 of their players already had yellow cards. So if they had come on the pitch and if the match was going to be continued, the players would have had yellow cards, and then that means 5 of their players would have had to be sent off. So in retrospective of that, they are getting punished for that, which honestly I think it's fair. I guess this is the juicy part where people were wondering, so what would Morocco, what would be the fate of Morocco? What will be the punishment for them? And Hakimi has been suspended for 2 CAF matches, with one being a suspended sentence for a year for his unsporting behavior. But I actually feel kind of bad for Hakimi because when you watch the videos where he took the towel, Hakimi clearly has no idea what's going on. He's being instructed by someone to take the towel. But I guess at the end of the day, that's still unsportsmanlike behavior. And I have another problem with it. Sorry, I said it's fine, but I didn't see any punishment for the throwing of banana and discrimination act. But let's go through the judgment then. Ismail Saibari is also going to get a 3-match CAF match suspension for unsporting behavior. I mean, Saibari, come on, what was that? He didn't have to get involved in that. He didn't have to get involved in any of that, but then deservedly so. And he's also fined 100,000 USD. I don't think this is going to be anything for them to pay, anything hard, because they are professional players and they earn way more. And also the Moroccan Football Association is being fined 200,000 for inappropriate behavior of the ball boys. So 200,000 for the ball boys. I think 200,000 in Senegal is being fined 300,000. Yeah, it's fine. And then the Moroccan Federation is being fined again for 100,000 for improper conduct of their national team players and technical staff who invaded the VAR review. I mean, I guess it was not just the Moroccan officials, it was both the Moroccan and Senegalese officials who obstructed the referee from checking the VAR, but also in the right sense. And then finally, Morocco is fined 100. Why do I keep on saying found? Fined 150,000 for the use of lasers of their supporters during the match. I mean, so this is my point. I feel like acts of discrimination or racism should not be entertained in the game. I don't know why CAF did not take an action against that racist throwing of banana down on the pitch. I don't think it's right. I think repercussions should be made out of that, and that should have been added to sort of the punishment or the sentencing. And so, on the protest of Morocco regarding alleged violations by Senegal of Article 82 and 84 of the CAF regulation, CAF has reached the conclusion that they have rejected the protest of Morocco regarding the alleged violations by Senegal of Article 82 and 84 of, long story short, Morocco's protest was rejected. And so Article 82 and 84, that was being contested by Morocco. If you read Article 82 of the regulations of the African Cup of Nations, it says, if for any reason whatsoever a team withdraws from the competition or does not report for a match or refuses to play or leaves the ground before the regular end of the match without the authorization of the referee, shall be considered loser and shall be eliminated for good from the current competition. The same shall apply for the teams previously disqualified by decision of CAF, which is a very sound legalese argument to make. And Article 84, which says that the team which contravenes Article 82 shall be eliminated good from the competition. This team will lose its match by 3-0 unless the opponent has scored a more advantageous result at the time when the match was interrupted. In this case, this score will be maintained. The organizing committee may adopt further measures. So what CAF is saying is that they are not going to uphold this argumentation, which I think is a very sound argumentation, especially if Senegal left the pitch or forfeited the match. But I don't know the arguments that were made at CAF. I can find out what arguments were made, but if I'm to make a guess, I think the argument for CAF to say that they are not going to uphold this, then that means in the definition of leaving the grounds or in the definition of abandoning the game, Senegal can argue they did not abandon the game. On two grounds. The grounds that maybe one, they can say that because of the riot that broke out, they did it for the safety of their players, or two, they can say that to abandon a game is not to come back, and then they came back. I don't know the arguments they made. I'm just speculating, but if on a proper argument that can be made, then it will make sense why CAF might not uphold that protest. But it makes for a very interesting legalese thing to make, or a legal argument to make. But then at the end of the day, I'm sure we might have full and better particulars. So all in all, I like the judgment. I, however, think that Morocco should have gotten another punishment or fine against them for the throwing of bananas onto the pitch against Stanley Nwabali. But also, if I look at it, it would also depend on the parties in play. Maybe who is the correct party to bring the action. So if probably Nigeria were the one who brought that action, then CAF could take that judgment against Morocco, because the banana thrown on Nwabali did not occur in the game against Senegal and Morocco, but occurred in the game of Morocco and Nigeria. So those are the interesting things you can take out of it. Yeah, the law. So I hope we can all finally put this to bed. I have seen takes about, Senegal should be banned from going to the World Cup. Come on, that can't happen. That's too extreme. And I like the fact that FIFA has taken the stance that it is going to only affect CAF related games. So nice job, CAF.